Hello, I'm Rob Rebien, Interim Dean of the IU School of Liberal Arts at IUPUI, and it gives me great pleasure to welcome you to this afternoon's presentation of the IU Bicentennial Medal to William M. Plater. I'll be serving as the MC of today's event, and I'm honored that we have so many distinguished guests and friends of IUPUI in attendance today, including our Chief Academic Officer, Kathy Johnson, members of the Chancellor's Cabinet, members of the IUPUI Council of Deans, the Dean's staff, and so many good friends and community supporters of liberal arts and IUPUI. Thanks to all of you for being here. It is an honor and a pleasure to share the many accomplishments of Bill Plater, Chancellor's Professor Emeritus of English, Public Affairs, and Philanthropy, as well as Executive Vice Chancellor and Dean of the Faculties Emeritus. Bill served as Dean of the School of Liberal Arts, Executive Vice Chancellor and Dean of the Faculties of IUPUI, and Director of the Workshop on International Community Development at IUPUI, sponsored by the Center on Philanthropy and the School of Public and Environmental Affairs until his retirement in 2010. Bill made numerous contributions to IUPUI during his distinguished career, including the development of IUPUI's first comprehensive campus-wide strategic plan, University College as the entry point for IUPUI students, the Center on Philanthropy, which has grown into the world's first School of Philanthropy, and the creation of the School of Informatics. As a champion for internationalizing the university, Bill improved the experiences of students and faculty by significantly contributing to the expansion of partnerships with numerous institutions around the world. Plater focused on quality assurance in international higher education, philanthropy in its international context and in its role in social change, and the transnational community and civic engagement of universities, all of which has been recognized with several local, state, and national awards, including the establishment of the first nationwide annual award by the American Association of State Colleges and Universities for university provosts who demonstrate leadership in civic engagement. Plater was also the architect for developing service learning at IUPUI and was instrumental in starting the Office of Service Learning. And he designated campus scholarship funds to create the Sam H. Jones Community Service Program. Under his leadership, IUPUI was included on the Presidential Honor Roll for Community Service in 2007. Bill Plater led campus efforts to improve undergraduate retention, developed IUPUI as a model for civic engagement, fostered international programs, and increased research productivity, all components of his vision for IUPUI to become the leading urban research university it is today. Thank you, Bill, for all that you have done and continue to do for IUPUI and the School of Liberal Arts. We are proud and honored to have you as a member and a supporter of our school. Now, allow me to introduce Dr. Nancy Chism, a longtime colleague at IUPUI, serving in a variety of roles from Professor of Education to Associate Vice Chancellor for Professional Development and Associate Vice Chancellor for Academic Affairs to Associate Dean of the Faculties. Nancy, would you please share a few words with us about our honored guest?
I sure will. Thank you. Congratulations to Bill Plater and to the committee on their excellent choice. I'm extremely honored to say a few words about Bill. I worked with Bill in the Office of Academic Affairs, as you've said, from '99 to 2007, and I continue to be in contact with Bill through our ongoing work in higher education. We're fortunate to have in Bill a key representative of the early shapers of IUPUI, which is an important part of Indiana University's Bicentennial. You've heard the impressive list of Bill's accomplishments. I'd like to focus first and foremost on his character. I believe that great leaders work from their centers, and at his core, Bill is, and I'll use one of his favorite words, he's extraordinary. First, I point to his intelligence. Bill has thought deeply and he reads widely about the fundamental issues affecting not only higher education, but the world. Bill's correspondence in office was legendary. He's the only one I know who had the knack of turning a routine email into a white paper. This intelligence and facility with language helped put the School of Liberal Arts on a sound footing during his days as dean. It also put IUPUI on the map as Bill wrote and spoke eloquently at national venues about the uniqueness of our campus. Second, Bill is visionary, and like all visionary people, he's open-minded to new possibilities and change. From championing the role of information technology to fostering a partnership with community partners such as the Idle Jorg, to appreciating the value of service learning and programs such as philanthropy, he encouraged the important and creative collaborations across academic silos that make our hybrid university the vital place that it is. Third, Bill is passionate about his work. He often had to make hard decisions, and he fought hard for the issues that he thought were essential to the health of IUPUI and IU more generally. Some still probably remember arguing with him or trying to block him or being outfoxed by him, but I think all would agree that he was driven by his commitment to IUPUI. There are so many other qualities I could point to. Bill's humility and his self-effacing sense of humor, his generosity in giving credit to others, his inexhaustible energy and work ethic. I'm so happy that he's been chosen for this award. He's highly deserving in light of the role he played in advancing the School of Liberal Arts and IUPUI during crucial times of growth and change. Congratulations, Bill.
Thank you, Nancy. Let me introduce Amy Warner, Vice Chancellor for the IUPUI Office of Community Engagement. Amy has more than 25 years of executive leadership experience in strategic marketing and communication, community relations, and regional economic development, government and alumni affairs, and fundraising. Amy, please share a few words with us about Bill, if you would.
So I wanted to thank Bill for sending me a text during the session to let me know Jean Temple did not have the password yet. So I wanted to thank you, Bill, for continuing to keep us in line and make everything run as smooth as silk. Second, I want to thank Gail and your family for making you available to give so much of yourself to IUPUI, and I know is part of that dedication that comes through in the reason you were recommended for this outstanding medallion at this time in the Bicentennial IU. I know that's also crazy that we've only set aside a short period of time to talk about your contributions, not just to IUPUI and IU, but also to higher education as a whole, as Nancy mentioned. There are a few things today that are of particular significance that I would like to share in honoring you today, Bill. Through the innovation that you bring to the campus and to the Academic Affairs Office, and also your role as Dean, you created a wonderful pathway for students into IUPUI through the Ivy Tech Passport Program. And when you look back at the number of people, particularly those who are underserved or students of color, who were able to help us make the progress that we have made at IUPUI, it came because of that knowledge and that planning to bring those two institutions together and make a pathway for bachelor degrees for so many in our region. Another initiative that we worked on together was the Indiana Partnership for Statewide Education. And this is for the olden days when distance learning came through like a TV set and over analog lines and through a thing called IHETS. But with the leadership you provided that group, we were able to create dozens and dozens of core courses that could be transferred among institutions and really bring higher ed in Indiana together. Seeing that future of technology and the requirement for more people to have access to education, you also did some internal operational work that was pretty heavy lifting with integrated technologies. As we all know, that later became UITS. But Bill has sort of a knack for this work. He also masterminded the launch of a new program called the Purdue School of New Media. And Bill, if you recall, you started that out in a way that we knew would be changing the course of learning and how technology is pervasive in our lives today. And we now know that school is the IU School of Informatics and Computing. That vision, and as Nancy mentioned, that reading, that passion that you have was able to create a pathway for that school to make a difference, not just in Indiana, but globally. And for those of you who love technology, did you know that we used to have a cable channel? Yes, that's right. We convinced the city of Indianapolis to give us a cable channel to bring olden day distance education to people in their homes, in churches, and in community centers throughout the city. And this kind of taking a risk and investing in technology before it was ready is part of what Bill was able to do to connect a future vision with what's possible today and create that pathway or that groove in the rock that could make future technologies, future leaderships, and future advancements happen. So I wanted to share two more things. One is one of the lasting legacies of Bill's service to IUPUI really was the interdependency between the city of Indianapolis and the IUPUI campus. He would often say, if Indianapolis succeeds, then we succeed. If we succeed, Indianapolis succeeds. And this has in fact been the case, and never, ever before now has that been more important, to continue to move in stride with the community that makes us strong as an institutions. Rob mentioned the commitment to service learning and internationalization and civic engagement. These intellectual and financial investments made during Bill's leadership has permitted IUPUI to be recognized as a leader in civic engagement internationally. And in fact, Bill was instrumental in helping shape the Carnegie classification for engaged institutions. So it's no wonder we have the National Association, American Association of State Colleges with the Plater Award, and that we have thousands and thousands of young people who have gone out in their careers with the Plater Medallion for civic engagement. So in recognizing you for this wonderful, wonderful distinction, I attribute your imagination and your innovation, Bill, in the role as the Chief Academic Officer, to be kind of your ability to outmaneuver the competition by outthinking, outwriting, outreading, outsmarting the average policymaker or corporate foundation or even national award presenter. I also thank you for teaching all of us who have come after you to keep your own score, to write the minutes of a meeting before you attend the meeting, just to make sure you get a successful outcome, and above all, to avert a crisis. If you need to avert a crisis, no matter how big or small, you can always write a memo or send a 6-screen email detailing exactly what needs to be done. But in closing, I read this last week in the IUPUI development plan that was the first strategic plan for IUPUI that you had the vision to say, IUPUI is becoming a university to help prepare Indiana for the unknown. It is already a place of unity and greatness. And it is that place, Bill, thanks to you. Congratulations on this esteemed honor and the Indiana University Bicentennial Medal.
Thanks, Amy. Now, allow me to introduce Jean Temple, Professor of Philanthropic Studies and Founding Dean Emeritus of the Lilly Family School of Philanthropy. and President Emeritus of the IU Foundation. Gene, will you please share a few words with us about Bill?
Thank you very much. I'm sorry to be late to the meeting, but I seem to be frustrated by Zoom at every turn. Bill, I'm really pleased to be part of this. It's so fitting that you should receive the Bicentennial Medal because as you prepared a document to look at what IUPUI might become in the 21st century, you created a vision that was slightly driven by some words from William Lowe Bryant that Indiana University would become a place of concourse where students from all across the state could come and enjoy a first-class university. Your vision really was to create a first-class urban university at IUPUI, where students from all across the state, all across the nation, and indeed around the world would come and receive a first-class education. And I think you achieved that vision in large part because you didn't let anyone stop you from doing that. And you took a lot of us with you as you did that. But your thoughts were that IUPUI would be a first choice institution when it wasn't. It wasn't anywhere near that. You said it would become an urban research university when the urban university was not necessarily a totally positive image. You recognize that the community was a laboratory for the university, and you built the university in that direction. You created community scholars and community professorships, and all of that you then began to define as a legitimate way of organizing a university for the 21st century. So I think that when I look out the window and from my office, and I see the sidewalks lined with students walking from class to class, and it looks very much like any other university. I know it's a different place than any other university, but I also know it's the university that it is today, that IUPUI is what it is today because of a vision that you had for what IUPUI could become as a university for the 21st century. So as we celebrate the 3rd century of Indiana University, I think all the eyes are on IUPUI and what it can be to lead the rest of the university forward. So congratulations, Bill. It's been great to be a colleague of yours since 1983 and to have me dragged screaming and hollering sometimes into the future that you imagine.
Thank you, Gene. It is now my great pleasure to introduce the Executive Vice Chancellor and Chief Academic Officer of IUPUI, Kathy Johnson. Kathy?
Thank you so much, Rob. So on behalf of the IUPUI campus, I also want to extend my welcome to everyone. Dean Plater's leadership during the first half of my career at IUPUI had a profound effect on me as a faculty member, as a citizen of this campus and of Indianapolis, and as a person. My entire sense of IUPUI, its strengths, our collective values, our commitment to our city, were shaped by Bill and his gift for articulating the narrative and the vision of IUPUI so compellingly. His many accomplishments have already been described, so I will not repeat these lists. Rather, I will simply point out that had Dean Plater not chosen to spend his career here, our campus would almost certainly never have achieved its reputation for innovation, for community engagement, for student success, for strategic international partnerships, the scholarship of philanthropy, and so many other areas that continue to thrive today. It has been truly humbling to serve in the role that he once filled, but also reassuring to have his wise guidance and counsel, both of which he shares so generously. In honor of all that Bill Plater has done for IUPUI, I am so very pleased and honored to present the Indiana University Bicentennial Medal. The Bicentennial Medal, a special initiative of Indiana University's 200th anniversary, is awarded to organizations and individuals who, through their personal, professional, artistic, or philanthropic efforts, have broadened the reach of Indiana University around the state, nation, and world. It's made of materials salvaged from bells that once rang out from the tower of the Francis Morgan Swain Student Building on the IU Bloomington campus. Each Bicentennial Medal is a lasting piece of Indiana University history. And Bill, I hope, or I believe that you should have the medal there with you. This is the downside of Zoom. Maybe you could hold it up. Typically, I would present the medal to you at this moment as I utter the following words. But since I'm not with you right now, I'm going to rely on you for that portion of this conferral. So by virtue of the authority vested in me by the trustees of Indiana University, I am so pleased and privileged to present this Bicentennial Medal on behalf of IU President Michael A. McRobbie to William M. Plater, IUPUI Jaguar. Congratulations. And Bill, I hope you could maybe say a few words at this time.
Well, thank you, Kathy. Thank you, everyone. I'm really overwhelmed. I thought I had done a better job of trying to explain to everyone when I was a dean of liberal arts or the dean of the faculties that it's okay to claim everything and concede nothing, but not to exaggerate as much as you all have. It's just, I think that you're far too generous in what you had to say about me, because I think each one of you know that what we did as a team was because of the effort of everyone. And I just want to add a word of thanks to Rob and the School of Liberal Arts for having nominated me for this, in part because so many of the people who were here when I arrived in 1983 are no longer with us, either on the faculty or even with us, except spiritually. And I have to say that I left the University of Illinois at Urbana-Champaign to come here with some doubt and trepidation until I met the faculty and discovered what an amazing group of people were already here who had such tremendous ideas and hopes for what IUPUI could become. So it became my job really to support their work, their ideas, the vision that they had for what the school could become and what IUPUI could become. So I feel very much honored to have been able to work with all of you, but also with so many others that really were extraordinary people and trying to commit themselves to what IUPUI has become so well. That is a university deeply engaged in its communities, locally and internationally, and committed to advancing the common good, not only in Indianapolis and central Indiana, but the state of Indiana, the nation, and beyond. And it's just been such a thrill to see things that I was part of early on be developed so richly and well by all of you. IUPUI is an extraordinary place, and I just thank you for the opportunity of having been able to serve with you and to serve this institution and the people that it serves in turn. I just also, I can't thank all of you who spoke enough. Rob, I especially thank you for the work that you've done as interim dean. It's been in many ways, a really challenging period, a difficult time, a thankless task, and we all owe you a great debt of gratitude for stepping in to that breach and helping the school make a transition. So thank you for that. And I have to say, I couldn't have done anything without the support of Gail and my family. And she's here with me to receive this recognition because it's both of us. She served not only as my partner and advisor and counselor, but as the assistant dean of liberal arts working on its behalf for so many years. This was a cause that was dear to both of us. And just a final comment, we stand on the eve of an election that may be the most important, certainly in my lifetime, maybe even more important than 1968 when Richard Nixon was elected to office and the United States was at war both abroad and at home. And we stand here at a time that I think we've not seen, most of us in our lifetimes, at a time of peril. And I just want to note that it's been the role of liberal arts for centuries to stand as the bulwark against authoritarianism and the forces that would try to bring down democracy. Liberal arts has a place in university, and it has found a wonderful place at IUPUI. So thank you, Kathy, Nasser, others who have administered the university. We really appreciate your support of liberal arts. And to all the faculty, thank you for your great work.
Thank you so much, Bill. And not to put you on the spot, Gail, but we do have a few minutes. Would you like to say anything?
I would just add my thanks as well. It has been a wonderful ride. It's been great to see IUPUI develop, as everybody has noted, and my thanks goes to all of those people who supported us throughout the years, and all the friendships that we've made here in Indianapolis and with the university. So, and thank you for the wonderful reminder of what that work was for all of us.
You know, one other thing, Rob, I just wanted to say that, I was reflecting on how many of the faculty are no longer with us, but I know that Mike Scott and Merle Ill were here when I joined the faculty, and it's really quite remarkable that they're here orchestrating and arranging this event. So thank you, Carl and or Merle and Mike, and Carl too, if he's around, because he was a big part of the early school too. So thank you all.
Thank you so much for those remarks, and congratulations on receiving the Indiana University Bicentennial Medal, Bill. Thank you, Executive Vice Chancellor Johnson, for presenting the medal to our honored guest. And thanks to all of you for attending today's ceremony. On behalf of the Executive Vice Chancellor and myself, best wishes, be well, and goodbye for now.